Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield back in Valencia, and it's always nice to meet a new chef who has got an amazing restaurant with incredible passion. And Bunny Hahn is the proprietor, the chef, the owner, and the big personality at Appetite, which I've just enjoyed dining at this evening. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasure to have someone come to experience something that we love doing.
I can tell, and that's what's infectious. When you meet somebody who A, knows what they're doing, first of all, you've got to have a craft there, you've got to know what you're doing, but then loves it so much you bring it alive. You can taste it in the plate. You really have got a gift.
Thank you very much. It's weird because I never wanted to be a chef. It's just something, I guess it's in my genes, and I just thought I could do it. I've never had formal training. In fact, in all my restaurants, this is the first restaurant that I actually cook in, and I enjoy the most.
So what is it then? Are you a genius of business or are you a genius of gastronomy?
Business, I would say. Funny that. I always put business first before gastronomy.
You know, it's interesting you say that because so many restaurants open and close quickly. I do every year a program in Las Vegas, and it amazes me how they can spend 10 million on a restaurant and the next time I go it's gone.
Yeah.
It's tough to get people in and provide good food that makes them come back, and it is consistency, isn't it?
Yes, it is. For me, number one, paramount. Consistency, whether it's food quality, service, or delivering the produce. I think it's very consistency that brings us customers back and back again. For example, in Valencia, people are not well-traveled and quite narrow-minded in many ways. And we being so different, no menu, no smoking when we first started, it was all the odds against us, but we were confident about what we do and we stick to our game plan. And 5 years later, we have free appetite, really. And my advice is you have to be consistent, you have to love what you do and be confident about what you do.
What I loved about your restaurant tonight, it's certainly the most sophisticated meal I've had, both in terms of the culinary skill and also the ambience. I mean, it is beautiful, your restaurant. You've put a lot of thought into it. Does this happen by accident then? I mean, you're a businesswoman. Do you research what type of room you're going to have? Because we're here currently at La Cantina, which is opposite Appetite, and they're very different, but equally as nice.
No, I don't research. I think I have to thank my mom for that. I think my mom has great taste. I grew up in that environment. So, like I told you before, I love to come to places where I feel comfortable, and this will be something you'll find in my home, the same decoration skills. I don't think interior designer, I'm not sure if I call myself that, but I just think it's important where things are placed, the lightings, where would I sit, would it be too close to the door, I think details is important, and whether you're constructing a menu, buying produce, placing the tables, details. That's something I think a lot of people seem to forget about details.
And again, it's the personal touch. I'm amazed how many restaurants get it wrong. It's just the wrong ambience when you walk in, being stood there too long, people not paying attention, the service being poor. It is an experience. I mean, the Americans call it the dining experience, and it really is. Great food isn't enough to have a successful restaurant.
That's right. I don't think it is. Food is one thing, but there are places I've been to where they deliver in food but not in the service, or vice versa. And that becomes disappointing because you're not getting the experience. And I personally believe that if you go out for a meal, you need to have that wow factor. You may not always get it, but you need to have at least a certain degree of execution where you leave like, oh, right, I've paid money and it deserves to be paid.
Bonnie, you're so fascinating. I mean, I came into your restaurant and you started telling me your life story. You began in Malaysia and then you moved to Australia, and here you are in Valencia, and then you've just opened a brand new restaurant in Mallorca. I mean, what a life. You sort of defied the odds, really. I
do, especially in these economic times. But I think a lot of people kind of look at me like, where do you come from? But I just say, look, if you have the means, you should do it. Certainly it didn't start out that way. I mean, we had some difficult times when I first arrived. I don't speak English. I don't speak Spanish. I know nothing about the tax system. I just went ahead without thinking. I just dive into it. But I think every day is a learning lesson. You learn and you get better. And the minute you don't learn and you stop wanting to learn is the minute you fail. So for me, I'm very proud where we have been, and I could not have done it without my strong team. I have a very good support team, and I appreciate their hard work and, loyalty to me.
Let me talk about your food, because tonight, I mean, we had an exceptional meal. You offer two choices, which again is brave in this town. It is a town of patatas bravas and Valencia salad and great fish and all of that stuff, but it's very formulaic. What you do isn't. You don't offer a menu. You don't tell us what we're going to get. We get a choice of 6 or 8 courses, and then you bring us what you choose. I love that about you. It's so exciting and brave. And for me, it's a real treat, because I'm going to try stuff that ordinarily I wouldn't order. To begin, for example, you gave us this delicious sort of Mexican wrap. We then had Turkish food. All from all over the world, you've pulled these flavors and these textures. Again, genius. Why didn't I think of that?
Well, I don't think I'm a genius. I just thought, oh, hang on, maybe that would go well together. I look for textures and flavors. Again, I would cook something that I would love to eat. And through my travels, I kind of pick it up from here and there. And I just think, oh, that could be exciting. You know, taco with chicken, guacamole, and coleslaw. You think it's such a simple thing, but I think the simplest thing in life is always the most difficult to execute, because the simple thing you kind of tend to forget. That's simple. You don't have to do too much to it. But I think it's a simple thing that you have to pay extra attention to it to make sure the details are fine-tuned to deliver the texture, the flavor, and the wow factor.
I always say to people, when they ask me about my radio show and they say, why was it successful, or how do you get the ratings? I would listen to my show, not because of me, but because what I put in it. And it seems like you've found the key to success in that if you like it, other people will. A lot of people sell out in business, don't they? And do stuff that actually they're not interested in. Is that the key, do you think? That you love it, it is yours, and if you didn't own it, you'd go to it anyway because you like it?
Yeah, very, very true. Because, you know, if I'm not confident about serving a plate, you know, the customers notice it straight away. Even with my floor team, if they are not confident with that plate, they will not be able to sell it to you, because then before it looks wow, but then you're like, oh, well, that's kind of today's special is the calamari with I don't know what. And then the customer's kind of like, oh, hang on. You know, so it's all about confidence. It's all about, you know, making sure you think about. I don't think much. I'll go to the markets. I say, okay, hang on, I'll get this, this, and this. Let's see, that will work. Let's try it. And most of the times, the funny thing is, I don't actually try every dish I make. I just have this sense. I smell. I have a look. That will work. Let's put it on.
What a tremendous gift. What a rare gift as well.
Thank
Congratulations for that. You've created 2 rare restaurants here that are huge successes. You're about to open in Mallorca. I mean, is this going to be international dominance? Is London, New York, Milan, Paris next?
Well, I would love to think New York, London, but it has to be warm. It has to have a beautiful beach where I can hang out by the beach in the daytime. And then come into the office, which is my kitchen, for a few hours just to cook. And that's something I love to do. And that's about it. London will probably be too cold for me. I've been offered London, but I thought, Amsterdam, Germany. I really have to think about that.
You also ought to do a TV show. You would be brilliant, because you've got such amazing personality. And again, I know I've just said it earlier, but it comes through in your food. Your passion and your personality really is the key to your restaurant. And you are your restaurant.
Yes.
What a great gift. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
If people want to get hold of you, you can get to the website. It's www.appetite.es. And your new restaurant in Mallorca, what's that called?
It's called Appetite Cafe Bistro. So it's a cafe by day and bistro by night.
What a great concept.
Thank you. So it's a bit of everything from Valencia.
How do you find, I asked Gordon Ramsay this question many years ago. He opened chains around the world. Some were successful, some weren't. And I asked him the question, how do you find people who care as much as you do to deliver as good a plate as you could in your own restaurant?
It takes a while. It takes a while because I usually do not hire professionals, because they have a mindset that they are well trained. So they are very fixed in their way of thinking. I always choose to train someone with no skills at all. So they're open-minded to me, and they learn straight away from what I teach them rather than what they have learned. So I guess in a way you could say that I'm successful that way, because I pick people for their personality and character rather than their knowledge. Because I think I can teach you, but if you can't be taught, then that's not something I want as part of my team.
Listen, if you ever open in the UK, I'm your man. I will work for you. I'll be your manager. I'll be your chef. I'll be your PR. I'll do the cleaning. I'll do everything. I love you. You're one of the biggest personalities I've met in a long time, and I'm a big fan. Bonnie Hahn, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. See you again.